Dan Gilroy, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Rene Russo are back together once again. I'm hoping for greatness. What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Netflix thriller Velvet Buzzsaw, written and directed by Dan Gilroy, the man who directed Nightcrawler. And this movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo, Toni Collette, Daveed Diggs, and John Malkovich. I do not really want to explain the plot to Velvet Buzzsaw because it gives away a lot of spoilers. So the basis of what I can say about the movie is the film is about an art critic played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's a critic who reviews paintings, and he goes to this art exhibit and he's trying to find out some information about these paintings. A mystery about a former dead painter, and all these different weird things go on in this thing called Velvet Buzzsaw. Dan Gilroy, I believe, is a fantastic director. I loved Nightcrawler when it came out in 2014. That movie came out of absolutely nowhere. That was one of my favorite films that year. And I think it's Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance to date. Roman J. Israel Esquire was Dan Gilroy's other directed film. That wasn't as great, but still Denzel Washington got an Oscar nomination. I've been hearing some things about Velvet Buzzsaw. It's been getting a lot of mixed reactions and mixed opinions. And so what did I think of this movie? I liked it. It's actually a pretty solid movie. But is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it amazing like Nightcrawler is? No, not even close. But I did like this movie more than Roman J. Israel, so that's a plus. First of all, the A-list cast that Dan Gilroy got for this movie is incredible. Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, the leader of this movie, and Jake Gyllenhaal gives a really good performance in this movie. I mean, what else do you expect? I mean, Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors working today, and every role he takes on is just a transformative performance, and he's really good as this art critic. Kind of a dislikable character at first, but he has different personalities where you're either interested by him or you just don't like anything about his character. But Jake Gyllenhaal plays the character so freaking good, and he was easily the best part of the movie. Rene Russo was also really good as this really strict art gallery owner. She takes her job seriously. If you do something wrong, you know she's gonna get ticked about it. The supporting cast members stood out as well. Toni Collette was fantastic. Toni Collette's an amazing actress. I loved her in Hereditary, of course. Daveed Diggs, he has a small role. He's really good. John Malkovich isn't in the movie for a lot of times, but John Malkovich is good. And also, the guy from Game Night, he was also funny as well. The cinematography looks stellar. For this being a Netflix movie, the shots looked really unique and clever. Especially the art paintings. There's some really nice clean shots, close-up shots, widescreen shots, and a lot of moving around shots. When there's characters talking, it goes to one character into another, the 180 rule. The cinematography is just something I have to point out because I think it's stellar. I thought this movie was pretty unpredictable. I didn't watch any trailers going into it, and it completely shocked me by how unique it kind of was. Like the first two acts, I was pretty into it, and then we'll get to the third act. But still, the way Dan Gilroy sneaks up on you with this story, like you're trying to predict one thing and then another thing happens. You're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. The pacing flows really nicely, and the unpredictable twists the film has were pretty entertaining to watch. I think one of the issues I had is kind of some unnecessary subplots with romantic feelings with Jake Gyllenhaal and his ex-girlfriend, kind of. There's some scene in the movie where they're diving into, oh, I'm dating you, now I'm not dating you. That did feel a little forced, and it felt a little too long. It could have been taken out of the movie. It didn't really need to be there. Also, most of the kills were pretty predictable. I could see them coming from a mile ahead. After you see one death, you're like, oh, okay. And then another death happens, and you're like, all right, that person's going to die. This person's going to die next. And yeah, they're pretty predictable. Also, the ending was weird and didn't make any sense to me at all. It ends just like on one simple shot, and then it's just like it's over. It didn't really show much to it, and it didn't really have that emotional impact that I wanted. It just left me with all kinds of questions. I don't like when movies do that. They just end and then you're just having a bunch of questions like what's going on. In the end, Velvet Buzzsaw, I thought this was pretty solid. You know, I really enjoyed this movie for the first 2 acts. Dan Gilroy, great direction. The performances are stellar. And this movie's on Netflix, so if you guys want to go check it out, definitely check it out. And it does have issues. It's not perfect, but still, it's pretty solid. I enjoyed it. On my rating scale, I'm going to give Velvet Buzzsaw a 3 out of 5 stars. This is pretty solid, pretty sweet. Definitely go check it out. Alright guys, those were my thoughts on Velvet Buzzsaw. Have you guys seen it yet on Netflix? And what were your thoughts on it? Did you love it, think it was okay, or did you absolutely hate it? Let me know down below. Thank you guys as always for watching this review, and if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe today for more content. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click that notification bell on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!